Folks, don't miss out on our AFC Championship game watch party live here on Ravens Rundown beginning this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as your Baltimore Ravens square off with the Kansas City Chiefs with a spot in Super Bowl 58 on the line from Las Vegas. We're going to have a great time reacting to the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand, and root on our Baltimore Ravens to victory. Between now and kickoff, we are in a sub-battle with our Chiefs channel, Little Jace over there trying to take us down. We want to show them who's boss, not just who the best football fans are in the National Football League, but also we want to beat them on and off the football field as we're a little bit behind in our sub-battle, but still got some time to catch up. Subscribe now for free and join us for our watch party coming up on Sunday afternoon. And then there were two. It all comes down to this, a spot on the line in the AFC Championship game as your Baltimore Ravens square off with the Kansas City Chiefs from the bank this Sunday. And what a fantastic matchup we have on our hands here, folks. Welcome in this edition of Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here as we preview this one, and we'll take a look at our top five storylines in this game in just a moment. Let's set the scene for you first. The Ravens come in at 13-4 on the season, the best record in the AFC, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, while the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, in their sixth straight AFC championship game, Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid have been a force to be reckoned with. The team to beat in the AFC over the last few years. Can the Ravens be the ones to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and get the job done? They come in as the favorite at home, a 4-point favorite, over-under at 44.5. A lot of pressure on Baltimore to be able to pull this one off. So, on today's show, we're going to look at the top five storylines heading into Sunday's matchup between these two teams. And first and foremost, you got to talk about the quarterback position. Mahomes and Jackson, two of the best quarterbacks in football. I think when you look at the two of them, what makes them so unique, I firmly believe that Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback to ever play the game in the National Football League. Well, Lamar Jackson very well may be the most explosive quarterback to ever play this game in the National Football League. And so just anytime you put these two on a football field, it should be an exciting show beyond everything else, right? And although they won't be on the field together, this game is very much about these two quarterbacks. Both of them are going to be multi-time MVP award winners. Mahomes, he's won a couple championships. Lamar's still looking for his, coming in with a chip on his shoulder, something to prove here, and both playing at an extremely high level. Look, Patrick Mahomes didn't have his best season this year, but we've seen the Chiefs play their best football within the last few weeks. Lamar Jackson really turned things on in the second half of the season. No quarterback was better this year, and specifically in the second half of the year, than Lamar Jackson was, with 24 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,600 yards. Completion percentage identical between these two at 62.7%. Lamar with the edge in QB rating, Mahomes with more passing yards. Lamar, of course, with the big edge when it came to rushing yards. But both these guys, it is must-see TV anytime that they square off against one another. I wish we got to see Mahomes and Jackson play each other more often. Which quarterback's going to have the better game on Sunday? Who are you rolling with, Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes? Type L for Lamar Jackson, type P for Patrick Mahomes, and let me know which quarterback you think is going to have the better day. Number two, the return of Mandrews. Mark Andrews will take the field for the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday for the first time since Week 11 when he injured his ankle against the Cincinnati Bengals. And personally, what we've seen in the past, although Mark Andrews has a pretty decent injury history of really this was the first major injury of his career, what we've seen in the past is that he's come back with vengeance, right? Up to full speed, looking like his normal self. I believe, personally, if Mark Andrews feels comfortable enough to play, that we're going to see Mark Andrews at full strength, at full speed, look like his normal self. And The Ravens are going to need it, quite frankly. Mark Andrews, prior to the injury, was having a very solid season as he led this team in yards per catch and receiving touchdowns at the time with 544 yards and 6 touchdown scores. But in his place, Isaiah Likely has stepped up, and the offense has clicked just as much with Isaiah Likely. In fact, he's got a higher yards per catch than Mark Andrews does. I think it'll be interesting to see what Todd Monken can dial up to get both these guys to have a big day, potentially both on the field together. Watch out. Should be fascinating to see in Mark Andrews' return. The Ravens defense has been the best defense in the National Football League this season, bar none. And it's been incredible, whether it's the secondary led by Kyle Hamilton, the pass rushers with Justin Matabuke, or the best middle linebacker in all of football, Roquan Smith. Mike McDonald has done an incredible job with this group, with how well they have played collectively speaking. And you look at Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that Mahomes and that offense, they can be explosive, and we've seen them turn it up when they need to when it comes playoff time this year. But I think the difference in this game, what ultimately is going to decide this outcome, is that Ravens defense. Patrick Mahomes, as good as he is, has not faced a defense like this all season. And without Joe Thuney in this game for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think you could see something similar to what we saw with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl several years ago, where he was on his ass all night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It might be that type of performance that we see from this Ravens defense, who's in the top 6 in about every category that matters. They just don't give up a ton of points either. Even last week, taking on a high-powered offense like Houston, who came in with all that momentum, the Ravens defense stood the test and really didn't let Houston do much at all offensively, with no offensive touchdown scored. And the pressure, too, that's what I think is going to be the thing to watch when you talk about going after Patrick Mahomes, is you see Matabuke, Clowney, Van Noy, Owe. You can't really have effective double teams because the Ravens have too many good pass rushers to contain to be able to slow down. What's the final score going to be? Who wins? And what's the final? Let me know in the comments section. Get your predictions in now for how you see this game playing out between Baltimore and Kansas City. Today's show, we are offering Ravens hats on sale now, and we got a great deal that we're offering with these Ravens hats, folks. You can get free shipping on these hats. These are just a few options, but we have plenty more available for you as well. Chatsports.com/Ravens hats. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Get yours now, right in time for the big game, which we expect our Baltimore Ravens to be in here in a couple weeks. Chatsports.com/Ravens hats to get yours today. Another thing to watch for, how is this game going to be officiated? Now, if you know me, you know I do not like to complain about officiating. I think that blaming officials is a lazy excuse most of the time. But we're trying to get ahead on this. I think this is kind of setting the scene for this weekend. It is worth noting that the NFL gave the Chiefs a massive advantage and pushed the panic button in their choice for who's officiating this game on Sunday. The head official will be Sean Smith. And what's notable about Sean Smith, just looking at the statistics, is what Sean Smith does for road teams. And we all know about the narrative about Patrick Mahomes getting all the calls, right? And that the NFL looking to bail out Patrick Mahomes and him begging for calls at times. It feels like when you play the Kansas City Chiefs, it's almost like back to the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan days of dealing with the Jordan rules. There's the rules for everybody else, then there's the Jordan rules. That's what it feels like at times when you play Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, of dealing with the Mahomes rules. And here's what I mean when it comes to Sean Smith, okay? The league win percentage average for home teams this season across the board is around 56%. You know what that number is in a game that Sean Smith is the head official? About 41%, okay? That's a huge difference. And that's the lowest of any official in the National Football League. Now, we're not sitting here making excuses and trying to blame officials already, but for a league that has a history and a reputation of giving the Chiefs all the breaks in a game that is expected on paper to be a pretty close game, does make you pause for a second and say, interesting. We'll follow this up later, and if we have a potential discussion after the fact, we'll know where to look to, and don't say I didn't tell you so. Last on our list of what to watch for, Lamar's legacy. This is the biggest game of Lamar Jackson's career. He can totally change the narrative and the perception of Lamar Jackson with a win here, because it's not just a win to get into the Super Bowl and win an AFC title, but it's going through the best. You are taking on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid, who have been here 6 straight times. They've been the best team in the NFL over the last few years. Any of this narrative about Lamar not being able to win playoff games and step up in these big moments completely goes away if you win this AFC Championship game. Now, you still have a Super Bowl after that, but as far as that goes, you take care of this, you silence all the doubters and put them behind you if you take care of this. We've seen Lamar play at an incredibly high level this year, right? Both through the air and on the ground. If we see this version of Lamar on Sunday, I don't see how the Kansas City Chiefs are going to stop Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I got a Ravens win. What's your confidence level in Lamar Jackson against the Kansas City Chiefs? They do have a good defense. I'll give them credit. But I feel pretty good about our quarterback and what he's going to do coming up on Sunday. I'm rating this about an 8 or a 9 on that scale as far as how I feel about Lamar. In the narrative, take care of business, show why Lamar is one of the best to ever do it. Subscribe now. We're going to have a great time on our watch party, rooting on the Ravens to victory. Ravens, Chiefs, live on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now, and we'll see you on Sunday afternoon.